On behalf of AmWestEntertainment.com, I'm Joe Christopher, and it's time to take a look at Week 6 of the Dubai World Cup Carnival, and no better person to do so than the incomparable Pat Cummings, who is very relieved that he doesn't have to yodel this week.
You got that right, Joe. I wouldn't say it was a big stretch or a big leap, but I just wasn't buying some of the hype, and there was hype. She was well backed. I wasn't interested in her, but local time really got it done. I'd eat and bled in that Guineas, but yeah, no singing or yodeling for me this week.
That's too bad. I was looking forward to it, but you would have had to have earned it, so maybe sometime down the line. Pat, we're going to take a closer look at Week 5 in just a moment or two, but first, Cigar, Silver Charm, Captain Steve Pleasantly Perfect, Roses in May, Invasor, Curlin, Well Armed, Animal Kingdom, California Chrome. Can he possibly add his name to that list? Off the second in the San Antonio, Behind Shared Belief, Connections Talking, Dubai World Cup. Do you think the racetrack and his style suit what's going on for the big race?
Well, first, the only way you're going to win it is to be in it. So it certainly helps that Connections have indicated they're going. I think the track plays very well for him. I like the choice. I think it's a good aim. I wasn't expecting as much from him as we got at Santa Anita. I'm ready to see California Chrome in the desert, and I think the rest of the world is too.
Yeah, I think it'll be awesome. And as much as I want to see the horse run, I'm intrigued by seeing the Chromies running around Maidan. That should be a sight to be seen. We mentioned this video is brought to you, as always, by AmWestEntertainment.com. Some great information about the Carnival can be found there, including live video for free on race day. And if you're a horse player, check out the partner website, amwager.com. If you like a fan-friendly interface, advanced wagering tools, and advanced player rewards, the best in the business, in fact, check out amwager.com. Pat, you mentioned local time, winning the Guineas. Let's take a closer look at week number 5 and some of the highlights, my friend.
Well, Frankie Four Fingers really surprised us. We kind of really ignored him, Joe. Didn't think all that much of his first up effort. We didn't highlight it at all, but he ran a very good race, made all the running in the second round of the Maktoum Challenge. And I think that race, while it was a quick race, I don't think that it dissuaded anybody from taking a chance in Dubai later this year, that's for sure. But he made all the running and won the second round of the Maktoum Challenge. And then we had Mastermind win the Maidan Classic Trial, another best bet winner, at least for me here on the show. And the thing, though, that was most masterful about that performance is that he made all the running and became the first horse, I think, dating back to February of 2012 to do it all on the front end at Maidan. Was very impressed by what I saw from Mastermind, doing something that really many horses haven't. And as we mentioned, local time, she backed up her run in the Guineas Trial. She won the 1,000 Guineas and probably advances onto the UAE Oaks after that. So plenty to look forward to there from her.
And Pat, speaking of the Maktoum Challenge, I know the winner was Frankie Four Fingers on the front end, but Prince Bishop, the old-timer, ran a huge race, proving that last year's form was not a fluke.
Yeah, no, look, he's an old fella, and he ran over the dirt. He got over it well, much better than African Story did, and I think this will set him up well to go forward in the 2,000 meters of the third round of the Maktoum Challenge. I don't think there'll be any question that he will most certainly be one of the favorites, if not the favorite for that event.
All right, Thursday, February 12th, post time 9:45 for Week 6. 7 thoroughbred races, 3 graded stakes. The feature is the third race. It's a $250,000 UAE 2,000 Guineas, 1,600 meters on dirt, and Mubtahij is the 3-5 morning line favorite. And Pat, we're going to jump right into that race right now, in fact. And we mentioned Mubtahij. Ajwad was second behind him. Third was Maftool. They were well beaten. Those are the 3 in this race again in a compact field of 6. And possibly with this race leading to the UAE Derby, Maftool is a Triple Crown nominee. So we're keeping our fingers crossed, because it would be really cool to see him advance forward in his career and maybe jump the pond and join us in Louisville the first Saturday in May.
Maftool and Mubtahij, both nominees, Joe. And look, what we saw from Mubtahij in that last race speaks for itself. 2 wins in Dubai, and we actually saw horses come back last week and run very well in the Maidan Classic Trial. Volatile being one of them. Zephyros, who's in this race, wheeling back. He didn't disgrace that much either, but they were well beaten by Mubtahij, so I thought that boded very well for how Mubtahij shook out of the Guineas Trial. Look, he's 3 to 5 on the morning line. He's probably going to be one of the shortest prices. I wouldn't put it past Ajwad to run a big race. He's got that Asiatic boy blood in him. He's certainly going to want a longer distance of ground. And Maftool missed the start in the Guineas trial, Joe. So I tend to think that it's going to be these same three horses. We don't have a big field here. Burnt Sugar wheels back, but to me, it's a repeat of the Guineas trial, and Mubtahij to oblige, and as a result, made him the Amwager best bet of the day. Nothing too creative.
Well, it's a free space potentially, and we want to see him run well. I'd like to see him continue that voyage. As we mentioned, a very intriguing addition for a lot of reasons of the UAE 2000 Guineas. Race number 4, Pat, this is the El Shandaha Sprint. It's a $200,000 US Group 3 event. 6 furlongs equals 1,200 meters. And the morning line favorite, no surprise here, the classy veteran, turf, dirt, all weather. He'd run on the parking lot if you asked him to. Reynaldo the Wizard at 8-5.
Yeah, look, the old boy is something. When he came back in the Dubawi Stakes, I thought he got a bit of a pace setup, and it really made him look all that even better. But the fourth place finish from that race, Muad'Dib, he came back and won, and won pretty handsomely. Actually, he didn't win all that handsomely. He just hung on, but he still at least came back to win. Let's go back and take a look at that stretch run where Ronaldo kind of settles mid-pack. He's fifth, kind of by himself. And he was under a ride, actually, from a fairly long way out. Richard Mullen got into him for a while. But he progressed on well. He was really the only horse to pick up and do any late running in the stretch. He goes on to win by a widening 3.5 lengths. It was a good effort. The early pace was just absolutely lightning quick, and that's why I have thought for a while that was going to be a difficult race to assess going forward, because I thought he really got the setup. A horse that didn't get anywhere near as quick of a setup, though, is Refuge. Refuge is going to be the 5-2 second choice in this race. He is my selection in the race, Joe. He came back in the Garud Sprint back on December 18th at Maidan. Beat a field of lesser company. There were a couple decent runners in here, but not to the same caliber as the Dubawi. But in this race, again, Refuge settles mid-pack. He's actually wide on the turn. He comes up and he just gallops away from the field. And what impressed me here most was that it was a really strong final 400-meter segment from Refuge, stronger than what we saw from Ronaldo the Wizard, where they really went very slow after going hard early. And in this race, there is some speed here. Modern history is going to show it. Beat Baby will go forward. And, we'll probably see something from Krypton Factor, too, who's a horse I don't think we should ignore. But Refuge was very impressive. He's just off the fastest 1,200 meters of the Carnival. To me, I went with Refuge here at 5-2. Maybe that price drifts if he's not viewed to be as classy as some others, but I thought it was a really good first-up run for him, and they're trying to get him to peak in the right spot. So I took Refuge, and I actually went with Krypton Factor to run in second here, Joe. He's an old stayer. He loves to mix it up. This is his 5th Carnival, if you can believe it.
Yep.
And he might just be coming right. The end of last season was okay. He's a right price. He's going to go forward. If he hangs around, I think you could claim of this a bit at a price. It's not a horse I have on top. We've done this before. I'm going to make Krypton Factor the Amwager value play of the day. 15-1, he'll probably be ignored a bit. First time on dirt. If he gets over it, he seems like he might be rounding back into shape.
Now, I know another party was tremendously overbet the last time he raced. He looked tremendous on the racetrack. They're giving him another shot on dirt. He didn't have a great trip that day at 20-1 in the morning line. I think he can be tossed in to some gimmicks as well. All right, Pat, let's move on to the 5th race. This is the $175,000 U.S. Range Rover Trophy. It's a marathon on grass, 2,400 meters. The morning line favorite, the comebacking Teletext from the barn of Pascal Barret. We all know him from Gloria di Campeo fame, winner of the Dubai World Cup in 2010. If he's running this horse here, you would think that he means business moving forward throughout the rest of the Carnival. The 3-1 morning line choice. Excellent result. Second choice at 9-2. You and I kind of differ on our opinions about how well this horse ran last time and how well he might run off of that race today. Let's hear what you have to say about this race and that horse in particular.
Joe, I like Excellent Result. I think it was a really good performance last time. He was wide the entire way. And look, there's really almost half this field is coming out of the same race. It was a similar event here at the Carnival a couple of weeks ago. Let's go back and take a look at the video. Four horses we'll highlight in particular, and they're more or less across the track at the top of the stretch. Firefighting's on the inside. Eye in the Sky was on the lead. Excellent Results in the white cap. Actually, he's vying for the lead with Eye in the Sky, although Eye in the Sky set most of the pace. And then Al Saham, the eventual winner, is in the back there in the all blue. And look, Excellent Result was parked out wide. He had to kind of rush up and get a good early position from one of the widest gates in this field. Now he's drawn in gate 2. I think that's a good sign for him. He's done better against tougher company here in Dubai, which is a good sign as well. I thought this was a good effort. You could take a lot of different ways with this and suggest that because of how clumped this finish was, maybe you don't like any of them and you want to toss them all out. I can see the argument there for that, but for me, Excellent Result covered the extra ground. It leads us to the trackist stat of the day. Excellent Result actually went 8 meters more than Al Saham, the winner, and he went 12 meters more than Firefighting, who was planted on the rail the entire time. Now he's drawn in gate 2. I think it's a good sign for Excellent Result. He'll go second off the freshening. Excellent Result for me is the play here in what is otherwise, I think, a very competitive fifth race. I'm just kind of planting a flag, a stake in the ground and saying, this is going to be my horse. This was a better effort than it may have looked.
Yeah, if teletext is ready and the connections are thinking about better things, should be maybe able to beat this field. Chenchawes has been facing tougher. Star Empire fits well with this field as well. So, as you mentioned,
Sociologica Inc. is getting over a longer trip finally.
Yeah.
He wants that. Jutland is drawn on the rail. That's better for him. And look, teletext to me, he's just a bit of a trap horse. He's still only a maiden winner and a conditions winner.
Right.
I'm not 100% sold on him.
That will be an acid test for this horse. And, if he is any good, proving himself in this race is only going to catapult him further potentially. Race 6, Pat, I think is the most intriguing race in the card from top to bottom because you've got a lot of different kinds of horses in this race. It's a $200,000 Group 3 Firebreak Stakes. And tough race to make a morning line. You went with Romanche at 5-2. A lot of North American punters obviously very familiar with this horse, making his UAE debut. And a lot of good horses in his company lines, but not a lot of great finishes, at least recently. So talk me through your thoughts on the morning line and how you see this race shaking out.
Yeah, it was tough, Joe. I actually even you said 5-2. I made Romanche 9-5.
Okay.
When I went back and revised it, I think his Met Mile third is probably going to stand out to a lot of people. When he was less than 2 lengths behind Palace Malice, that was a good effort, and he's just a question mark. He doesn't like to win all that often. His best races have come at Aqueduct. He's going to be off Lasix. But it's very familiar form, and there are a couple names of some horses that he's run against that's going to stand out to the betting public. And that, to me, is I'm really just thinking of how I think the public is going to treat the race, not how I would. Frankly, I'm going to avoid him. He makes sense if you consider that Met Mile form from last June, but I want to take him on here, Joe. I really don't want any part of him. The horse that we really need to take a quick look back to is the second choice in the race, number 2, Tamar Kuz, who had a really good local run. His first win in the UAE, and it was a good one. The son of Speightstown. He finally broke. Terry Spargo made note of it in the call. He was on the front end. He actually dueled with a couple, including Empire Storm, who's back in this race. But he basically dueled them into submission and said, see you later at the top of the stretch. Old boy Hafek ran on to be second. That's quality form. He doesn't normally disappoint in the UAE. So Tamar Kuz, for me, that was an impressive performance. That was the quickest mile that they've run at Meydan so far. I would put him up there. United Colors now getting over the mile trip. It's an interesting move. He's only been over 1,400 meters. I think this is an okay move for him. We should see at least a decent amount of early pace to maybe draw him into it. And in Cypher to grab a placing. He ran so well the other night. was right there with United Color. Might be a little bit outclassed, but for me, give Encipher a chance. So Tamarcuz, United Color, and Encipher with a Romanche out of the placings in the Firebreak Stakes.
We agree a lot on many of our opinions in this race, Pat, including Tamar Kuz, who has gotten his act together at least during the course of the race. He's still a little bit tough to load into the starting gate, but that last win was visually impressive. Throw one more horse at you, Darwin. Will he continue his evolution into a class horse?
Oh, you're a tricky one.
Did you see what I did there, Pat?
I heard what you did. I certainly don't want to look at it. Yeah, no, look, this is a private purchase for Sheikh Mohammed bin Khalifa Al Maktoum and others in the Mike DeCock yard, back on dirt for the first time since his 2-year-old season. He was a winner on his dirt debut for Todd Pletcher. Then went to Aidan O'Brien and was very competent on the grass. Faced some much tougher company. Really, he is the class grass horse in this race.
Right.
Gets back on the dirt. I think this is a hunting expedition to see what they have and what he's got. And whatever happens out of this, I think he's going to improve on whichever surface he ends up on eventually. But today I don't think is going to be that day. If he wins, no surprise, but I'm going to go elsewhere.
All right, a lot of different directions you can go in race number 6, and in many of the races on the program, although there seem to be a couple of standouts. Don't forget you can get Pat's selections, my picks, and the selections of Mackenzie Kirkerhead as well at DubaiRaceNight.com. Pat, let's unveil as we pull the curtain open for your selections for Week 6.
So I started the day with number 1, Lael. He just really ran very well, I thought, first up on the dirt. Not going to surprise anybody there. Pilote, going back to the well with Pilote, or Pilot, as some call him.
Fourth run of the Carnival already.
Yeah, and this is a race where I think he gets another good pace setup for him here, Joe. He's just one of those. Maybe I haven't gone to the well with him every time, but I am going to in this case. Although I do expect some good things from Almoon Kith. I expect Rock Cocktail to run an improved race, but I thought that Pilot could run another big one here, and I think the price will be a little bit better. That third behind Hunter's Light, to me, that was good form. That was a good race, and we're going to see a horse come back out of that in the last. Mubtahij and Rafij, we talked about him along with excellent result in Tamarcuz, but in that last race, I sided with El Aval. He ran second to Hunter's Light. I think that might shape up to be a fairly key race, and if it does, then that bodes well for El Aval. If Pilot runs a good one in race 2, then I think it shapes up well for El Aval, or maybe Mushrek in race 7. Where did you stand on the day?
All right, well, Pat, in the first race I went with Cry Joy, second to the explosive Hunting Ground last out, gets a break in the weight, so we'll go with Cry Joy at 4-1. I like Rock Cocktail's performance behind the stablemate Umgio last time out for Mike DeCock, so we'll go to Rock Cocktail, who, as you mentioned, should move forward. Move to His, rooting for him. Ronaldo the Wizard for me in race 4. Teletext the class in race number 5. Darwin, upside square price in an open race in race 6. And Zahi, this horse is kind of an enigma of sorts. He's kept some good company. He's run some decent races. May have tossed a hint last out in his third place performance behind Safety Check, and I think he's going to be a big price in the finale. So Zahi for me at 15-1. Pat, the 2015 Amwager Bankroll Challenge. Last week you made $150. Congratulations. It'll get you a bus ride home.
Hey, it counts, right?
Much better than I did. Let's take a look at the totals. Pat, $500 spent, a profit of over $360, and he looks like he's going to get a little bit creative in testing a few of the different pools to fish in here on the Week 6 program. Pat, what do you got?
Yeah, I start with a trifecta where I'm going to key Lael over 2 horses, Giron and Cry Joy with everybody. That's in race 1. And then I'm kind of going a little big here, focused. Single Mubtahij in a pick 3 that uses Ronaldo, Rafij, and Krypton Factor, and then goes into excellent results. I'm really banking on those 2 selections and play a $6 pick 3 ticket. We'll come back with those same 3 horses in a trifecta in the Al Shindaga Sprint, 4-9-10, 4-9-10 all. Back up another pick 3 that will, again, hope to get excellent result home. You see, I'm really kind of banking on him there and using Tamarcuz as well. And then we'll take the leftover $16 and put it on excellent result. So I'm hoping for an excellent result. If excellent result wins, it should be a good day if that happens. Joe, you find yourself down in the challenge. It hasn't always been that way. How will you crawl your way to what would we say? How would you crawl your way back to profitability?
Respectability we'll start with.
There we go.
Then we'll
Okay.
worry about profitability. Excellent result helped me defeat you in last year's bankroll challenge. Maybe he'll help me defeat you this year if he tanks on Thursday and allows me to cash some of these tickets because he's not on any of mine. We've got pick threes that are keying mostly on a couple different horses. Ronaldo the Wizard in race 4 and Teletext in race number 5, but also spreading around in the Teletext race as well and singling to Zahi in case he happens to win race number 7. That would be a monster payoff. Small win and place bet on Darwin in race 6. Small win and place bet on Zahi in race number 7. You can follow Pat and I on Twitter for Dubai racing, as well as each and every day, whether it's racing, whether it's sports, whether it's beer, whether it's music, whether it's just general opinions on life itself. Pat is Dubai Race Night and Trackist Racing. I'm Joey Decay Racing. Pat, week 6 of the Dubai World Cup Carnival coming up on Thursday. Any final thoughts?
No, looking forward to it. This is basically the biggest dirt featured day of the year until we get to World Cup night. A lot of the big action happens on the grass after this, so the dirt really gets a good workout here, and lots of fun and lots of questions I think will be answered after this meet.
Yeah, it's a fun card. There are some bettable races, but there are also some stars that we're rooting for because we're just fans of racing, particularly the Carnival, obviously, in this instance. So if you're wagering, if you're watching, if you're doing both, enjoy week 6 of the Dubai World Cup Carnival. For the incomparable one, Pat Cummings, I'm Joe Christofek. Have a great night and enjoy the Carnival.